Hollywood, the land of dreams, is built on a foundation of secrets. Think you know everything about your favorite stars? Think again. We're about to peel back the glamorous facade to expose the shocking truths hidden beneath. Get ready for an eye-opening journey into the dark side of fame, where scandals and betrayals reign. Leave a comment with the number 1 if you have the courage to witness the unfiltered reality of Hollywood, a place filled with jaw-dropping stories. While Charlie Chaplin's on-screen persona brought laughter to millions with his signature comedic performances, his off-screen life was marked by relationships that raised eyebrows due to their significant age differences. Chaplin's first marriage was to Mildred Harris, a young actress who was only 16 when they wed, while Chaplin was nearly 30. This marriage began under a cloud of legal issues concerning the bride's age and resulted in the birth of a son, but tragically, the child died in infancy. His second marriage, to Lita Grey, also began when she was just 15 years old. This marriage brought Chaplin 2 sons. However, his third marriage to Pet Goddard did not produce any children and ultimately ended in divorce. A major turning point occurred when Chaplin, at 50 years old, began a relationship with Una O'Neill, the 17-year-old daughter of the famous playwright Eugene O'Neill. They officially married when Una turned 18. This pattern in Chaplin's relationships, preferring younger women, seemed to stem from a combination of his desire to maintain youthfulness and his ability to have children. His marriage to Una was the longest of his life, and she bore him 8 children, bringing his total number of children to 10. Despite his undeniable influence on the entertainment world, Chaplin's personal life was filled with complex and often turbulent relationships. His final wife, Una, although nearly 4 decades younger than him, outlived him by just 14 years. She struggled with alcoholism and depression, likely a result of facing adulthood and motherhood at such a young age. Una remained Chaplin's loyal companion until his death, a decision possibly influenced by their large family. Chaplin took pride in showing off the number of his children to visiting guests at their Swiss estate. The pattern of constantly seeking relationships with younger women, enjoying their prime years and then moving on as interest waned, reveals a complex dynamic. While he clearly seemed to find joy in these relationships, it's difficult to assess the emotional impact they had on his partners. Becoming a father for the last time at the age of 73, Chaplin may have lacked the energy to fully participate in raising his youngest children. These relationships might have made him feel youthful, but they may have also contributed to the premature aging of his wife, Una. Humphrey Bogart, the man famous for his tough guy image in Hollywood, etched his name into film history with the timeless masterpiece Casablanca. His performance as Rick Blaine, a weary American with a heart of gold hidden beneath a tough exterior, remains a pinnacle of acting. However, what's fascinating is that his personal life during the filming of this movie mirrored the very emotional skepticism and coldness of the character he portrayed. Behind the scenes of this romantic classic, Bogart grappled with his own inner demons, which seemed to fuel the disillusionment of his character, Rick Blaine. While his radiant co-star Ingrid Bergman sought to establish a more intimate relationship, Bogart kept his distance, preferring solitary reflection through chess rather than bonding with the cast. It's said that he ignored Bergman in real life, an action that might have stemmed from the personal struggles he was facing. Another notable aspect during the film's production was the height difference between them, which required creative solutions from the film crew to maintain the on-screen chemistry. Additionally, Bogart's tumultuous third marriage to actress Mayo Methot created a charged atmosphere, marked by fiery arguments, fueled by his increasing reliance on alcohol. The tension only escalated as his romance with actress Lauren Bacall, who would later become his fourth wife, blossomed. These off-screen tensions, along with conflicts between Bogart and the demanding director Michael Curtiz, contributed to a high-stress environment on set, which, in a strangely ironic way, may have enhanced the authenticity of his performance. John Wayne, a Hollywood icon from the Golden Age, was famous not only for his strong conservative views, but also for his commanding presence on screen. His straightforward personality sometimes led to conflicts with colleagues, including heated disagreements with legend Clark Gable. Ironically, despite their political differences, both actors shared a passion for aviation, with Gable even holding a civilian pilot's license. One notable conflict occurred during the production of the 1953 Western Hondo, directed by John Ford. Any chance of cooperation between Wayne and Gable quickly dissolved due to Ford's relentless criticism of Gable's appearance and age, creating a tense atmosphere and frequent arguments between the two stars. The situation worsened when Ford's disrespectful behavior extended to Gable's co-star, Ava Gardner. On one occasion, Ford even threw a lit cigarette at Gardner, which infuriated Gable. Angry at how Ford treated the crew and disregarded their feelings, Gable walked off set multiple times, eventually severing all professional ties with the director. John Wayne's daughter, Asa Wayne, revealed the long-standing animosity between Gable and Ford in her book John Wayne, My Father. She describes how this feud lasted for years, with John Wayne steadfastly supporting Ford, which led Wayne to make disrespectful comments about Gable, despite having no personal animosity toward him. While Wayne may have admired Gable's looks, he was famously dismissive of Gable's intellect, once remarking, "Gable is a fool. Do you know why Gable is an actor? Because that's the only job he's smart enough to do." This comment, though revealing Wayne's perspective, raises questions about how the film industry often measures the relationship between intellect and acting talent. WC Fields, with his distinctive red nose and unmistakable speaking style, was a figure full of contradictions. He became famous as a gambler with a legendary poker face and was also one of the best billiards players in the world during his youth, a talent that later helped supplement his modest income from vaudeville. While some viewed his persona and his feigned disdain for children as part of his stage act, Fields undeniably possessed a mischievous charm that made him one of the most influential and enduring comedic forces of his time. Unlike Chaplin's deep emotions or Keaton's daring humor, Fields' comedy delved into the darker aspects of human nature. He dared to express repressed desires, minor frustrations, and the hidden turmoil that we often keep to ourselves. He found humor in our flaws and transgressions, making the audience laugh while simultaneously feeling uneasy about his antics and politically incorrect remarks. While his on-screen persona was a source of delightful laughter, Fields was famously known for his short temper and strict standards off-screen. He fiercely guarded his comedic timing and was notorious for clashing with studio executives who dared to interfere with his creative process. The blend of his comedic genius and his complex, difficult personality is an inseparable part of W.C. Fields' legacy, adding an enduring layer of mystery to the man behind the laughs. The publication of Christina Crawford's memoir, Mommy Dearest, in 1978 shocked Hollywood, shattering the carefully constructed image of her mother, the famous actress Joan Crawford, and revealing a dark reality of abuse. The book exposes the stark contrast between Christina's lived experiences and the glamorous facade her mother had created. Instead of an idyllic childhood that one might expect from the daughter of a Hollywood star, Christina's life took a dark turn when she was just 13 years old. Her idealized image of her mother was shattered in a horrifying event, with Christina recalling the terrifying details of an attack where Joan strangled her, punched her in the face, and slammed her head onto the floor, a memory that remains vivid even decades later, highlighting the life-threatening nature of the assault. Adding to the disturbing nature of the incident was the stark contrast between Crawford's public image and the private hell that Christina endured. Joan Crawford was a revered Hollywood icon with a career spanning 5 decades. She starred alongside legends like Clark Gable and Bette Davis, achieving immense popularity in the 1940s, including winning an Academy Award for Best Actress for Mildred Pierce in 1945. However, behind the lavish lifestyle and the outward appearance of a happy family in their luxurious Los Angeles mansion, Christina witnessed a very different reality. Interestingly, rumors about Joan Crawford's erratic behavior and violent temper had whispered through Hollywood for years, often fueled by the fierce rivalry between her and Bette Davis. Published a year after Joan Crawford's death, Mommy Dearest became Christina's platform to expose the truth. She accused her mother of being a sadistic perfectionist, struggling with alcoholism, and prone to unpredictable bursts of violent rage. The memoir painted a chilling picture of Joan as a woman who wielded her power not to nurture, but to dominate her children, imposing her will with an iron fist and administering harsh punishments for the smallest of infractions. Marlon Brando, with his iconic status, has been overshadowed by details of his tumultuous relationships with women. Rita Moreno, who had a passionate yet stormy 8-year relationship with Brando, painted a picture of a man full of flaws. In a conversation with Jessica Chastain, Moreno recounted the devastating emotional abuse she suffered from Brando, which led her to attempt suicide. "We had a relationship that lasted almost 8 years. And it was interesting to be with Marlon. Oh my, it was interesting. He was extraordinary in many ways, but he was a bad man, bad in how he treated women." Moreno also shared about Brando's controlling nature, which was not only limited to their romantic relationship, but also extended to Moreno's career, as he tried to sabotage her by spreading rumors about her with a powerful director. These allegations were compounded by the explosive accusations from Maria Schneider, who starred alongside Brando in Last Tango in Paris. Schneider accused Brando and director Bernardo Bertolucci of manipulating her into performing an unscripted, non-consensual sex scene, leaving her feeling violated and exploited. Moreno's bravery in speaking out, even after Brando's death, underscores the importance of confronting abusive behavior, regardless of the perpetrator's fame or status. In her revealing memoirs The Lonely Life, 1962, and This and That, 1987, Bette Davis provided an unfiltered and candid look at her life and career, going beyond the narrative presented in the 2017 TV series Feud, which primarily focused on her famous rivalry with Joan Crawford. Interestingly, Davis's relentless pursuit of excellence was not driven by a desire for fame, but by a complex relationship with her father, Harlow. Instead of being a patent lawyer, Harlow was a notorious divorce lawyer with a cruel attitude, which likely influenced Davis's ambitions. In a poignant story from The Lonely Life, Davis recalled a humbling experience with her father under a sky full of stars. "Do you see all those stars up there? There are millions, millions of stars. Remember this, and you'll understand how unimportant you are." This harsh lesson instilled a deep motivation in Davis, pushing her to prove her worth and achieve greatness in her career. Davis's journey was fraught with challenges, particularly from studio heads like Jack Warner and her rival Joan Crawford. Davis was candid in describing Crawford, painting her as a selfish and manipulative person who was believed to have used romantic relationships with powerful men to advance her career, rather than focusing on the working conditions during the filming of Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. Davis detailed how Crawford's insecurities led her to constantly demand reassurance from the film crew about her appearance, further exacerbating the already tense relationship between them. The impact of Bette Davis extended beyond the silver screen. Her fierce independence and refusal to conform to Hollywood's strict norms challenged the industry's rigid rules. Instead of discussing retirement, Davis famously declared that her passion for acting was, "I won't retire as long as I have my legs and my makeup box." Her courageous spirit and unwavering commitment to her career continue to inspire generations of Hollywood artists and beyond. Amid the turmoil of World War II, in October 1942, a shocking accusation was made against Hollywood heartthrob Errol Flynn. The Australian actor, famous for his adventurous roles like Robin Hood, was accused of raping a teenage girl, shaking the foundations of the film industry. Flynn, who had captivated audiences since his breakthrough in 1935 with Captain Blood, now faced 3 rape charges. These accusations stemmed from alleged encounters at a party in Bel Air and aboard his yacht, a stark contrast to the romantic image he portrayed on screen. The scandal tarnished the reputation of a man who was not only a film star, but also a notorious playboy, once boasting about having seduced over 1,000 women. The case became a sensational Hollywood drama, drawing attention to the stark contrast between the sacrifices of soldiers on the front lines and the seemingly carefree lives of the elite during a time of wartime austerity. Flynn's lavish lifestyle and the alleged actions highlighted a troubling disconnection. His legal battle, centered around the complexities of rape laws, unfolded as a public spectacle, underscoring the power dynamics in Hollywood's golden age. Jerry Lewis, the legendary comedian celebrated for his dynamic duo with Dean Martin and tireless efforts for the Muscular Dystrophy Association, led a life marked by remarkable success and deep personal struggles. Known as the Prince of Darkness of comedy, Lewis faced a tumultuous journey from a difficult childhood to infidelity, battles with addiction, a suicide attempt, public feuds, and serious health issues. While his comedic genius influenced generations of artists, including Jim Carrey, who famously said, "Jerry's comedic DNA is in everything I do," Lewis struggled with inner demons that often overshadowed his career. However, beneath the laughter and fame, there was a dark side to Lewis's life. Allegations of cruelty and abuse surfaced, particularly from his youngest son, Joseph, who claimed to have endured continuous physical and emotional mistreatment from his father. This fractured relationship eventually led to Jerry cutting ties with Joseph. Tragically, Joseph passed away from a drug overdose in 2009 at the age of 45. Jerry's response to his son's death was marked by silence and conspicuous absence, highlighting deep and complicated family dynamics. In a rare moment of self-reflection, Jerry admitted to struggling with feelings of guilt over Joseph's death, saying he had tormented himself thousands of times. Spencer Tracy, a Hollywood legend with 2 Academy Awards and countless accolades, concealed a personal life full of struggles behind his on-screen charm. While he built a public image as a devoted husband and a devout Catholic, Tracy was also a notorious womanizer and faced allegations of sexual predatory behavior, all carefully hidden from the adoring public. Tracy's reputation as a ladies' man was an open secret in Hollywood. Director Joseph Mankiewicz famously said, "No one at MGM had more sex than Spencer Tracy." His romantic conquests included a string of famous stars, such as Men Eli, with whom he shared sizzling chemistry in several films, Bette Davis, and the strong-willed Joan Crawford. However, more serious issues surrounded allegations of harassment. Irene Dunn, his co-star and a guy named Joe, described Spencer Tracy as rude and rigid, revealing an incident where his behavior crossed the line, forcing her to file a complaint with studio head Lou B. Mayer. There were also rumors that Tracy's constant drinking and quick temper led to physical altercations on set, highlighting the darker side of his personality. His actions went beyond typical infidelity, as he aggressively pursued Ingrid Bergman, a woman who was married with children at the time, demonstrating a blatant disregard for boundaries and societal norms. Lucille Ball, the undisputed queen of comedy, left an indelible mark on the entertainment industry. However, behind the scenes during the filming of Here's Lucy in 1971, specifically the episode Lucy and the Mountain Climber, a side of her personality emerged that many found difficult to digest. Rather than focusing on the mountain climbing plot, the episode became infamous due to a conflict between Lucy and her co-star, Gail Gordon. The tension stemmed from Lucy's insistence on using her personal hairstylist instead of the studio's designated one. The episode also featured Tony Randall, who had recently found success with The Odd Couple. In the episode, Randall played a mountain climber that Lucy's character sought to overcome. While working with Ball, Randall quickly discovered that many considered her to be a difficult person to work with, known for her controlling nature and outspoken attitude. This characteristic even extended to her demand for close-up shots in her contract, highlighting her perfectionist tendencies. Despite this, Randall acknowledged that Ball's strong personality was an essential element of her comedic brilliance. He explained that while her assertiveness could be challenging, it was also crucial in crafting an exceptional show. Greta Garbo, the mysterious silver screen icon, was renowned for her exceptional talent, but behind her legendary on-screen image lay a ruthless personality, often evident in her interactions with others. This was particularly evident in a notorious encounter with Mary Davies, where Garbo's actions revealed a chilling indifference that went beyond her public persona. During the filming process, Garbo unexpectedly visited Davies's film set, observing the work for about 30 minutes. When Davies attempted to respond to this gesture, she was coldly rejected by Garbo. Later, when Davies visited Garbo's set, the famous actress immediately halted filming and demanded to know who had dared to interrupt her work. Davies attempted to explain her presence, saying, "I knew, but Mrs. Garbo came to my set, and I thought I should return the gesture." However, Garbo's response was cold and indifferent. "You are very funny. You make me laugh. I didn't come to meet you. I came to meet a real actress, Zasu Pitts." This harsh remark left Davies in tears, but Garbo remained unmoved, lacking empathy. As Davies left, Garbo struck one final cruel blow. "You're nothing." This event, recounted by Davies herself, revealed a side of Garbo's character that was not only eccentric or antisocial, but also deliberately callous, shocking even those within Hollywood. Instead of attending a social gathering, Garbo chose to spend the evening playing cards with infamous mobster Bugsy Siegel, illustrating her unconventional and sometimes controversial social connections. Garbo's actions during this encounter exposed a personality whose fame may have obscured a darker, more vicious side, solidifying her place as one of the most controversial figures in Hollywood's history. During her marriage to Steve McQueen, which lasted from the 1950s to 1970, NYY Adams witnessed the darker sides of the legendary star's life. Their relationship was deeply affected by McQueen's continual infidelity, with rumors of affairs with co-stars like Natalie Wood and battles with various addictions, particularly cocaine. One shocking incident revealed the extreme volatility of McQueen's personality, as his addiction drove him to dangerous extremes. Although Adams tried to distance herself from her husband's drug use, McQueen, with his charismatic personality, persistently pressured her to partake. He said, "I wish you wouldn't fight me. I promise a little cocaine will make you feel better. I don't want you to feel bad. Whatever happens, you're mine." As the night went on, the cocaine-induced paranoia grew, with McQueen irrationally accusing Adams of infidelity, and when she accidentally mentioned an imaginary lover, McQueen became enraged, pulling out a gun and pressing it to her temple, threatening her life. He said, "You better talk or you won't live to see him die. I promise I'll find you." In 1938, Frank Sinatra, one of the most iconic music figures known for his signature fedora and captivating stage presence, found himself in an unexpected legal mess. He was arrested on charges of seduction, a serious offense in the conservative 1930s society, accused of leading an unmarried woman astray. Although the case was later dismissed, the incident caused Sinatra to spend a brief time in jail, highlighting a rebellious side of his personality that would follow him throughout his life. Sinatra ran into more legal trouble later in 1938 when he was arrested for adultery. The woman involved was married, which added complexity to the situation. Although the charges were eventually dropped, Sinatra still spent 16 hours in jail before being released. Interestingly, this incident coincided with the release of his first solo album, The Voice of Frank Sinatra, marking the beginning of his legendary career. Meanwhile, J. Edgar Hoover, the director of the FBI, known for his conservative views and pursuit of those suspected of being antisocial, began to take an interest in Sinatra. Hoover opened an FBI file on Sinatra, which grew to more than 300 pages, documenting every aspect of Sinatra's life, from suspected ties to the mafia to concerns about his possible communist sympathies. Although the FBI found no substantial evidence against Sinatra, the file remained secret until his death in 1998. Kirk Douglas, born Isher Danovich Dembski in 1916 to Jewish immigrant parents from Russia, rose from humble beginnings to become a Hollywood icon. His journey mirrors the development of American cinema. Alongside his iconic roles, Douglas had a significant impact on the industry, particularly in the fight against the Hollywood blacklist. As a key figure in the production of Spartacus, he boldly hired screenwriter Dalton Trumbo, a blacklisted individual, demonstrating his commitment to artistic freedom and helping to break the Hollywood blacklist. However, after his death, allegations surfaced about a sexual assault incident involving a young actress, Natalie Wood, in the 1950s, threatening to tarnish his legacy. Some reports suggest the incident occurred at a Hollywood party hosted by director Nicholas Ray, where Douglas was said to have taken advantage of the 16-year-old girl at the time. These allegations remain unverified, but they continue to stir controversy on social media platforms. In the late 1950s, Hollywood was captivated by the scandalous relationship between Elizabeth Taylor and Eddie Fisher, which became even more shocking when Fisher, who was a groomsman at Taylor's wedding to producer Mike Todd, became romantically involved with the actress mourning Todd's death in a plane crash. The situation became even more tense as Fisher was married to America's sweetheart Debbie Reynolds, who was also Taylor's close friend. When Taylor and Fisher embarked on their relationship, public criticism was mostly directed at Fisher, who faced a ruined career due to canceled contracts and was labeled a betrayer. Their marriage lasted 5 years, but issues surfaced just 2 years in. Taylor and Fisher divorced in 1964, but the story continued when Taylor and her co-star Richard Burton from Cleopatra began a passionate public affair that stirred up a media frenzy. James Dean, the iconic figure known for his roles in films like Rebel Without a Cause, is often seen on postage stamps, but his true personality sharply contrasts with the idealized image that is commonly portrayed. Donald Spoto's biography, Rebel, The Life and Legend of James Dean, doesn't shy away from depicting him as a difficult person, revealing a darker side that was hard to reconcile with the admiration he received. Instead of merely focusing on his lack of professionalism, Spoto delves into Dean's complicated relationships, such as his affair with Rogers Brackett, an older radio producer, which sparked rumors about his personal life and complicated his public image. Dean's behavior was often erratic, and he became notorious for carrying a pocket knife and, on one occasion, placing a live cow in director Nicholas Ray's office as a prank. This highlights his tendency toward impulsive and reckless actions. Even Rock Hudson, Dean's co-star and giant, had a strained relationship with him, describing Dean as difficult to approach, never smiling, constantly brooding, and lacking manners. Despite these stories, Dean maintained his rebellious charm, and his tragic death at 24 in a car accident created a loyal fan base, with his life romanticized in the media, including the Beach Boys song, "A Young Man Is Gone." However, not all depictions were positive. In 1993, conservative journalist George Will criticized Dean, suggesting that his character in Rebel Without a Cause contributed to the social unrest of the 1960s, portraying him as a frustrated, immature young man who always felt sorry for himself, like a victim of neglectful parents. Nonetheless, Dean's personality was multifaceted. However, Dean's personality was multifaceted. He was creative, intellectually curious, and ambitious, but also manipulative and selfish. His passion for speed and recklessness, evident both on and off set, ultimately foreshadowed his tragic end. Actors who worked with Dean shared stories revealing his darker side. Von Taylor, who co-starred with Dean on television, recalled him as rude, self-assured, and surly. Dean's unprepared movements on stage often led to chaos, disrupting other actors and angering directors. Did you know that a beloved comedian was once accused of domestic violence, or a teen idol was arrested multiple times for drug possession? We want to hear your thoughts. Which revelations surprised you the most, and why? Join the conversation in the comments below, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more insider content revealing the truth behind the stars.